I want to start off by asking you a question. Have you ever had a phase where everything starts to just feel off? Your whole life doesn't seem to fit anymore. You seem to question what you do. People say that you've changed, and you're thinking, yeah, I know. And you're not sure if you're evolving, exhausted, or just slightly losing the plot. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And no, 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 you're definitely not broken. Today, I want to talk about the real signs of a spiritual awakening. Not the Instagram version, but the honest, lived in kind. A spiritual awakening isn't about becoming high vibe 24/7 or floating through life in constant peace. It's awareness. It's the moment that you start noticing how you feel, how you live, what drains you, what benefits you, what feeds your soul, what no longer feels true. It's you waking up from the inside about your own life. And yes, it can be beautiful and deeply uncomfortable at the same time. It really can. One of the first signs is almost like a quiet discomfort. It just seems to creep up on you. You start to feel unsettled. Things that you once tolerated, jobs, conversations, relationships, habits, people, start to feel tight, heavy, and misaligned. Nothing is necessarily wrong, it just doesn't fit anymore. Or some things it actually feels as though there's something inside trying to get out. You might feel restless, bored, or just unsatisfied, and you don't know why. You can't put your finger on it. Even when things look fine from the outside, that's awareness. That's your awareness expanding. Whether you realize it or not is another question. You stop running on autopilot. You start asking yourself, why do I do this? Why do I believe that? Why do I believe this? Who taught me this was normal? You start questioning. You start looking or feeling as though you need a purpose. You question social rules, expectations, even your beliefs that you once followed without even thinking. And it isn't rebellion, it's discernment. You're no longer outsourcing your truth. It could be said that you're insourcing. And this one catches people off guard. Old emotions begin to surface: grief, anger, sadness, joy. Sometimes without even a clear reason. And the grief, you may not always understand why the grief's there. It could be to the old you. It could be about an old way of being, an old set of friends who you used to enjoy being with, and you feel that grief. You may cry at random moments, feel waves of emotion, or suddenly remember things that you thought you'd moved past. They start to surface. Nothing's wrong. Awakening often brings unprocessed emotions to the surface that they can finally move through. They're able to finally move through your being and be released. You begin to crave space, less noise, less drama, less surface level conversation, the small talk. You may pull back from socializing, or you may need more time alone. Not because you're antisocial, but because your nervous system is recalibrating. Silence becomes nourishing. And that is a big shift. I remember a lot of years ago, someone saying to me, it's very lonely when you're on your own, isn't it? And my answer was, no, no. I lost my husband 17 years ago, so I did go into a period of aloneness where I spent a lot of time being on my own. And that helped us with a lot of growth. So I couldn't understand that feeling of aloneness because I just got on with things at the time to keep myself busy, and I got into that habit. And I did a lot of work on myself back then as well. I still do. I did a lot of work on myself back then. I meditated. I pulled the band-aid off feelings and emotions because, like it or not, you start to know things without knowing why. Good feelings become harder to ignore, and your body reacts before your mind catches up. And you sense when something isn't right or when it is. And here's the thing, you might still doubt it, but you're listening more than you used to. That's the awakening of your inner guidance, because you start to listen to your spirit, you start to listen to your soul. Not only are you starting to listen, you're starting to act as well. This one is subtle but powerful. You still care, but just not in the same way. You stop molding yourself to keep the peace. You speak more honestly, sometimes too honestly. You choose what feels right over what looks good. And yes, it can ruffle feathers, but it also brings freedom. Also brings freedom. And if you're recognizing this in yourself, slow down. You don't need to rush. You don't need to label it or become anything. Support your nervous system. Spend time with people who feel grounding. Listen to your body, journal, breathe, rest. Awakening isn't something to push through, it's something to move with. Because a spiritual awakening doesn't mean that your life is falling apart. It usually means that it's just rearranging. You're not behind, you're not broken, you're not doing anything wrong. You're becoming more honest with yourself, and that 100% changes everything. And if this resonated, let me know in the comments. And if you want more grounded, real conversations about spirituality and growth, subscribe and stay with me, because you're doing better than you think. And do look in the description, because there could be some links there that may benefit you.